young family of Rene Janssen and Fien Van Hove is expanded with twins, GUST and Marcel Janssen. As was customary in those days, the children are born at home. Illustrate, Beerse is on the birth certificate. 75 years later, GUST still lives in his birthplace. It is August 8, 2010 when we go to visit the number 28 Illustrate. The sun is shining and GUST is chatting in Pigeon's keel in the garden with two gentlemen of life. With his twin brother Marcel and neighbor Louis Mays. 3 years ago the pigeons from Louis sold, but he still walks around in a pigeon keel and comes to cook GUST's pigeons every day. GUST, Marcel and Louis enjoy talking about pigeons and reminiscing. Born champions. GUST says, as a child, I couldn't resist the pigeon loft of Uncle Louis, brother of Mother Fien. The name, Louis Van Hove, from Beerse sounded like a clock in those days. It was impossible to race against Louis for 30 years. Afterwards, his sons Miel and Ludo took over the torch, also fine fanciers with super pigeons. GUST started in 1949 with pigeons that came from his uncle Louis Van Hove. The pigeons were registered in the name of Father Rene. 2 old pigeon diplomas, first champion 1963 and first champion 1966. It was a long time ago, but GUST's eyes shine when he recalls the time. But it didn't stop with pigeons. In the local history book of the municipality of Beerse, a generous article is devoted to GUST JANSSEN, the football player. The heaviest shoe we read under an action photo. At the age of 17, GUST scored more than 40 goals and became top scorer of the first provincial Lentezon, Beerse. GUST was early but also indestructible and played football until he was 50. In the same article, we read that GUST played super with his pigeons. Who would have expected otherwise? But no roses without thorns. In 1982, GUST had to take a cowardly uppercut when 16 newly ringed youngsters were stolen. On the table in front of us is an old newspaper clipping from Gazette van Antwerpen, July 6, 1984. The other Gebroeder Janssen is the title. The Gazette wrote a nice article to highlight the strong game of GUST, Marcel and Jos Janssen. A reference to the men from Arendonk. Different brothers, different writing methods, but also excellent performances with the pigeons. The biggest difference was that GUST, Marcel and Jos each did it for their own account. GUST was the best without compromising the other brothers. Marcel was general champion Noyen for 6 years in a row, and breeder of the best pigeon from Beerse in 2010. Jos was a specialist with hens in the middle distance. De Gazette van Antwerpen was penned because of the stunt result from Noyen. On June 17, 1984. Against 386 pigeons, the other Gebroeders Janssen 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 8th, 9th, 11th, and so on. The computer almost went into a tilt. Also on the table before us is the result of Noyen from May 23, 1999. Against 1,687 youngsters the result is first GUST Janssen. Jos Janssen. On another result from Noyen, July 25, 1999, against 543 old pigeons, first Marcel Janssen, second GUST Janssen. The twin brothers Marcel and GUST sit next to each other and still enjoy it. Beerse's Pigeon Club has had a billiard table for years. You have to imagine. GUST Janssen was unbeatable with the pigeons and could play billiards like the best. So good, in fact, that he was selected for the European Cup 3 cushion, teams of 4. Only brother Jos was a bit better. He teamed up with Heremans in Barcelona. GUST says, of course billiards was fun, but I loved the pigeons the most. Rene and Noyen have always been my favorites, but my pigeons can certainly continue. In 1997, I was persuaded to continue playing. I carefully went with a basket of 2 pigeons to cross swords with the big boys from Union Antwerp. They were hens that could stand their ground. The best raced 3 times in the lead in the middle distance and became ace pigeon. To round off the season I raced the hen from Burgs and pooled her 3 times to 1,000. It is my Burgs hen that later grew into a super breeding hen. GUST is a real one. He is working on day and night, and has seen everything in a pigeon loft. GUST is a little pigeon among the pigeons. GUST says. Pigeons show a lot, but you have to want to see it. I didn't bother my pigeons, but I was always busy with it. In 2000, I had an exceptional youngster. He was as smart as a man and flew 12 times in the lead. During the week, that pigeon was very quiet, but when I came to the room on Saturday morning, he looked at me penetratingly as if he wanted to ask, "Do you have my hen with you?" It is my 900-800. He became first provincial champion with a sharp coefficient. But the brother of the 900-800 also easily won first prizes. As a youngster, he flew 2 minutes free from Nguyen, release afternoon. As a yearling or old pigeon, he flew free again for a few minutes. Steel blue sky and wind on the beak. They couldn't believe it in the room. I understood the people. Such a lead is usually with wind from behind. The grandmother of these men is the light ash. She became champion in the great ensemble of Turnhout, 19 unions, and flew 7 Nguyens on 1 nest. Good for 2 times second prize, 2 times third prize and another 45th against thousands of pigeons and Turnhout. In the 1980s, I had a line that could fly minutes ahead. The 5-year-old white was one of them. The first time he came to Nguyen he flew 6 minutes ahead. Another time the same pigeon even flew for 10 minutes. Those are white blackbirds. If you discover such a pigeon, you are the happiest pigeon fancier in the world, the half-usufruct of the Olympiad. The Beerse Fairground competition is a classic in its genre. The best sprinters come from far and wide. Before us is the results of 2001. First Heremans Chusters, second GUST JANSSEN, third Heremans Chusters, fourth GUST JANSSEN. A result could not be clearer. Shortly afterwards, the time came for the Olympiad from GUST, second National Ace Pigeon KBDB 2002, Olympiad Pigeon Lieben 2003. However, all prospective buyers arrived too late. GUST and Leo Heremans made a unique agreement. It consisted of Leo buying half the usufruct of the Olympiad. In practice, the Olympiad has been alternately a month in Beerse and a month in Vorsalar since that agreement. We wouldn't know who is happiest with this arrangement. Leo Heremans makes no secret of it. Leo Heremans says, "I'm really good with it. I actually got to know GUST by accident. We took a little trip and went for a coffee in the cafe next to the bridge in Beerse. GUST also came in, my mates prodded me and said that is the best pigeon fancier in Beerse. One thing led to another, we started talking and GUST invited me to come and see the pigeons. I gladly accepted that invitation and was seriously impressed by the pigeons. When GUST suggested to me to take his 2 best pigeons for a couple of eggs, I was completely convinced. When the Olympiad was broadcast to the Olympiad in Leuven, I called GUST to congratulate him. GUST was happy but also sounded worried. Half the world wanted to buy his pigeon but he doubted. Leo says, "GUST told me the amounts he could get. I consulted with my wife and called to ask if I could come over. That was of course no problem. When I made my proposal, GUST immediately agreed. For me this agreement meant the winning lottery ticket." GUST says, "I didn't really know what to do at that time, but Leo's proposal was the best. The Olympiad is a super. Thanks to our arrangement we were both able to enjoy its breeding value. The relationship with Leo is excellent. I also want to emphasize that. GUST JANSSEN baselines. Louis Van Hove, Beerse. Louis, the best of Beerse for 30 years, he is the brother of GUST JANSSEN's mother. GUST learned the pigeon trade from him. Gebroeders, Miel and Ludo, Van Hove, Beerse. Sons of Louis Van Hove and fantastic quirine players, GUST Van Hove, Rene. Also family and purveyor to Jos van der Veken. Marcel Janssen, Beerse. Twin brother of GUST, Frans van Berendonck, Zandhoven. Staff Mays, Beerse. Cyril Branders, Wetchilders and Leo Heremans, Vorsalar. Dirk van Dyke, Zandhoven, via Gert Lauwerigs, Beerse. Jos van der Veken, Rene, via GUST Van Hove, Rene and Jeff Nuyens, Beerse. Olympiad 003, 6455 003-01. the showpiece of the tribe. Second National Ace Pigeon KBDB 2002, Olympiad Pigeon leaving 2003. Father Olympiad is de 68, 616 09 68-98. Mother Olympiad is Lot, 630 23 21-95. Lot 321 comes from 612 47 22-92, 3 times first prize as a youngster, granddaughter de 13. The farewell beautiful family photos of Gust, his wife, the 3 children and the grandchildren hang on the wall. But life can also be hard. After a short illness, Gust's wife passed away. Gust's health could also be much better. He himself no longer has the condition to race pigeons. The last 3 years have been raced in 2008 with young pigeons and in 2010 with 2 yearlings. They flew great. During the conversation with Gust's son Chris and son-in-law Rob Devery. Since Gust's health problems, Rob has become an indispensable helper in the pigeon loft. He is, in his own words, not a fancier himself, but does exactly what Gust asks to do. Cleaning lofts, feeding and drinking clean water. Rob says, "We do our best for Gust. I've never been attracted to pigeons. In the village, I sometimes heard people say you shouldn't pool against the Janssen because you've lost your money anyway. I knew that Gust was not very happy. They had to be good or they died under the machete. In 2008, I was watching, he went to Quirain to be able to pool and played with a few youngsters. €3,000 got profit in the 10 Covenant. That made an impression on me. After careful consideration and forced by health problems, Gust decided to stop with pigeons." Thank you for watching. Until next time.